Hi, I'm Doug.
And I'm Kathy.
And welcome as we follow the moon. Today we're going to take you on a little drive around a park that we've become very familiar with, and hopefully you'll become very familiar with too. And that's the Thousand Trails Park in Orlando, Florida. A lot has changed, and if you haven't been there the last few months, you're going to see a lot of new things when you arrive this fall. This will give you a little bit of a preview of everything that's new at Thousand Trails Orlando. Welcome to Thousand Trails. Over on the left is the Welcome Center. That's their sales office, their main office here. And if you notice over on the right, they've just added another lane to come in. Anybody who's been in this park during the winter knows that this road gets backed up all the way out to Highway 27. And this will make two lanes coming in, making the entry process into the park during peak season a whole lot faster and a whole lot easier.
These people can really make you feel happy when you come in. They're always ready to wave at you and smile. They're very helpful. They pass out the information of where you're going, and
including the map.
There you go.
Now, it is all gated. You didn't see the gates up today, and that's because of the construction. But it is a gated, secured community and tons of amenities.
I love this little area right here. It's kind of hard to see, but there's actually a community garden back in there. And then the part where we're passing right now, there's a camp fire pit and a place where people can gather and enjoy some nature together out under the trees.
Now here they've just redone the tennis and pickleball courts. In fact, these right here are all open. The other ones all have the Thousand Trails screening around the outside for sun blockage. And there's a lot of other new things going on up here around the rec center.
As we come around the corner here, you're going to see some more of the other courts that they've just completed, as well as the putt-putt golf. And Maggie's actually done this course a couple of times. The children's area is all brand new, and the pool had some special things done to it as well.
A lot of renovation on both of the pools. This lot we were just in is where they have everybody hook up your toad and unhook your toad if you're in a motorized vehicle. And around on the right, they have taken out the big old dumpsters that they used to have, and they've got 3 trash compactors. There's still a learning curve going on in the park. Some people, I guess, are not quite sure how to use them. But they still have the recycle dumpster as well as 3 compactors, which really do help with the trash situation. The rec center over here on the right has been completely redone, new flooring, new store in there. Their mail center's all been redone. It's open, but it's open with masks and limited amount of people allowed in there at a time. You can see that they've put additional water runoff and drainage over here on the side. That's just being finished up. Now the area across from it that you're seeing right now, these spaces have been there. It's a really pretty area. For those of you who are veteran Thousand Trails, that street is now called Triggerfish Road.
They did change the names of all of the streets, didn't they?
There's a few of the main ones like Crocodile that's coming up that's always been and continues to be, but it had something to do with the city of Clermont's 911. Now we're over on Jewelfish now in section F where we've been parked. And again, only the names have been changed, but there were duplicate streets for 911, so they had to rename the streets. And there's some really wild names in there. There's Ladyfish, Triggerfish, Jewelfish, Pinfish. They don't correspond with the site number letters like we used to. Down in this area, this is I section down through there. That is now Mako Road. So again, another new name that's been thrown in there. But the I section is a small area going back to a loop back there. So it's a little bit more private.
Now, if you notice off in there, there's throughout the park there are lattices made into little boxes, and those are actually where we have our resident tortoises stay, and they're all over the park, and they're just so much fun, and you'd be amazed at how fast that they move.
You can check out a video we've got on Instagram that actually shows moving across the park, and the tortoise and the hare thing. The tortoise got a bad rap. They are quick. Now this is being shot about a week before Labor Day, so this is one of the lighter periods for the park going into the holiday weekend. I'm sure it's a lot more filled up at Labor Day. But this is kind of summer crowd, and any of you who are familiar with it, in winter crowd, it's full. There are a total of 845 sites in the park. G section we're going through right now has just had electrical completely redone. It was closed off for a couple of months. Electrical has all been redone. And this is the pasture.
This is one of my favorite areas. Every time we would come in, I would have to get back here so that I could take pictures. Took the drone up this time and actually took sky pictures over the water and all. And you'll notice there's no cows. And we were so disappointed about that.
They've just recently, on the way up there, and you can see it now coming across the middle of the screen, that little black construction fence that's went up all the way around that pasture. That area was sold, not by Thousand Trails, but by its former owner. And that area is all going to be developed land. Haven't heard anything directly from Thousand Trails on it, but we have spoken with a couple people in the park that said it's all going to be developed. They had heard housing, and they had also heard that it's going to have a wall to divide it off from the park. We kind of hate to see that happen, but again, that wasn't Thousand Trails land, so it is kind of out of their control what happens with it. Now you can see the lake out there in the distance, see the water out there in the distance. And we'll get you back to that lake here a little bit later.
Maggie is really going to miss the cows, though. Every time we would go there, she would make us, no matter where we parked in the park, she would make us come back there. She'd pull and get us back there so that she could spend time with the cows. And it was so fun to watch them come up and spend time with her.
It was kind of like watching that movie Babe, where all the sheep gather around. It's the cows would always gather around her. I don't know who was more fascinated with whom.
Mornings were my favorite time to get out and get the camera and catch pictures of the sunrise and
all the wildlife.
Yeah.
There was a hawk there. There's wild turkeys we've seen. We saw a wild boar a couple of times. There has been a lot of activity with the Wi-Fi system in the park. The poles had been empty for a while. They're going back up, and there's a new Wi-Fi system coming in. The bull that you just saw was one of the last visitors that we'd had at a campsite back a few months ago. he had gotten out of the fence and decided to explore 1,000 trails.
Now, he wasn't the only thing that visited.
There was a gator that they found underneath one of the camping trailers. On the right, you'll see one of the restrooms, one of the bathhouses. There are a total of 7 bathhouses. 5 of them have laundries, and each of the laundries have 4 washers and 8 dryers. It's $3 a wash, $3 a dry, all with tokens that you purchase there. There are 2 new bathhouses slated for a new expansion section that we'll be showing you here in just a few minutes. So there'll be up to 9 bathhouses throughout the park. If you saw the debut of our new coach, that was actually in a site just over there on the left-hand side.
Well, this is where all the pull-throughs are. Makes it easy if you have a longer vehicle, longer rig. And they do have some nice little cabins or cottages there. And there's another section over there at H. H section has cottages in that too.
We'll be showing you some coming up here in the D section. The D section is a little more rustic section, and a lot of people like this, especially if you're state park fans. It's got a lot more of the rustic old Florida outdoors feel to it. There is no Wi-Fi in this section. As far as I know, there's no plans for Wi-Fi, but you'll see some of the getaway cottages coming up here on the right hand side. That is now called Mangrove Road that they're on. The whole park is a 10-mile-an-hour speed limit. This section is a 5-mile-an-hour speed limit. It's a little bit tighter, not quite as good a visibility because of all of the foliage. And there's a lot of families, not only in this section of the park, but throughout the park.
This is actually one of my favorite areas to drive through or walk through. It's very casual, and it's just a lot of fun. Nice little canopy of trees there. I had a lady tell me one time that when she was young, she used to come to Thousand Trails, and that there were a lot more trees. And then she didn't come down there for a number of years while she was raising her family, and she was surprised at how many of the trees had gone. Don't know if that was through storms or just what, but
had some pine beetle issues.
Yeah, yes.
There's a very interesting tree coming up here too.
Now this is where Maggie brings us down here every time, no matter where we park in the park. She absolutely wants to get down here by the water, and one of the reasons is that there is a dog park down here. And we're going to see it off in the distance, but there's the old man in the tree. And there's the dog park. You can see it there in the background, but I got the picture that came in so that you could get a little bit closer up to it and see. But there's a nice little field out there. If you trust your dog, you can let him off the leash and let him run around there, but I don't trust Maggie that much.
There are boats and kayaks that are available. You just need to sign them out up at the rec center. Nice fishing pier out there. That's actually a 60-acre spring-fed lake at the back of the park. And one of the things that we do kind of miss right now with the health crisis that's been going on, the theme parks in the area are not open as late as what they normally are. Normally you can come down there and watch the fireworks over the lake. It's beautiful. If you've noticed the park size, it's a big park. There's 845 sites right now in the park, and it covers 255 acres. And we're going up Thousand Trails Boulevard. The The lake is in the rear of the property, and we're going back up towards the front of the property. Here you'll see on the left the D section, and you'll see the getaway cabins over here on your left. And just beyond those is a new area that's just under construction. It is to be opened this fall, and it's an additional 167 sites that will put Thousand Trails Orlando over 1,000 sites. The electric's in, the water's in, the sewer's in, roads are in, the pads are all poured, and you can start to see on the left they've been bringing in some real big trucks of sod and laying grass in all the sites. So it's starting to come together real nicely. There'll be 2 additional bathhouses on this side. And it kind of goes and goes and goes.
It sure does. It just goes on forever. Won't have to worry about not being able to get a site when winter gets here.
It should really help with availability this winter and in the future. They're still plotting this as fall of 2020. We'd heard originally September. I don't look for it to be until maybe October, November, but it is really coming along nicely. There you can see where the grass work is.
One thing I like about it is many sites as there are, it really sets back off of the highway enough that it's very quiet.
The highway is at that point probably 3/4 of a mile away yet. So you don't get a lot of road noise. You'll occasionally hear the ambulance siren or something like that from out on the road. But that's just about it.
I think the motorcycles are the thing that cut through the air the most, and you'll hear a motorcycle going down the road now and then, but it's very rare, and it, especially at nighttime, it's very quiet.
Now you can see the rec center over there on the right, the pool's behind it, and all the rest of the existing campground.
One of the things I love about Thousand Trails is every time we've gone there, we've parked at a completely different area, and it really feels like a different park. No matter where you go, you don't feel like you're in the same Thousand Trails. You have a different, each place has a little bit different vibe.
We parked in F section this time, and that's the first time we've ever been over there, and it was very quiet. Very subdued compared to a lot of the areas we've been, but we ended up and struck up some really great friendships with people over in that area.
Yeah, we did.
So it's a different experience every time you stay there. It's a different experience no matter where you stay there in the park. It covers such a large expanse. Some of the areas, the new area, the spaces I think are a little bit tighter together than what they are in the old, but there's so much green area in the park for kids playing soccer, playing baseball. They can play and not worry about taking windows out of your coach.
One year they were actually building forts in the middle of where they were taking down some of the, had to take down some of the pine trees, the tall pines. And the kids were all in there. Even the dads were getting out their chainsaws, and they built a teepee.
That's right.
Yeah.
We're going up Thousand Trails Boulevard now, up towards the front of the park. The rec center will be coming up on the right here shortly. And this new area actually goes all the way up to where the storage area has been. Yeah, some of these road signs you'll see along the way too with different names on them. Core Loop, Thousand Trails Boulevard, Crocodile. Those are just about the only ones I think that are left of the original names. They do not correspond with the site letter names like what they have in the past. Now you'll notice over here on the left there'll be a sign here shortly that'll say Propane Way. That goes back there to the storage area and some of the new sites. That's the propane area. There's also an air machine there if you need to air up tires. And we're heading back up now to where you see the gate, the guard gate up front. We're going to go ahead and make a right here at this corner. This is where we came in originally the first time. We're going to make a left here and go down towards our site. As we're doing this, we want to thank you for joining us today. On the left here is a little loop of permanent sites. But if you have not already subscribed to our channel, please do so. We appreciate it. Give us a thumbs up if you liked the video. We look forward to seeing you all on the road, and who knows, maybe here again at Thousand Trails Orlando over the winter.
Thank you for following the moon with us.
Thank you for watching this video. We hope you've enjoyed it. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel and be sure to ring the notification bell so you'll know when we have new videos listed. Also, be sure to check out our blog at followthemoon.us and also our Facebook page at Follow the Moon and on Instagram at Follow the Moon Travel. Thanks.